Lamb's quarter, wild edible. So food is getting scarce in our area, and I'm up this morning helping milk a cow, and here's some of the supply. And part of the deal is if I help milk, then they give me some of the milk. These animals have to be taken care of every day. They have to be milked every day, and that's part of what I do also. She's having a rest right now. She was chewing her cud, and we will take her over and milk her. That'll be a source of dairy and cheese. You got to be willing to do these things, and you got to know how. Washing the cows is just a way to calm them down before you milk them, and it feels good to them too. So you have to clean the udder before you start milking, just in case you lay down in something that has got dirt, and then you have to drain the teat to get any dirt out of it before you start milking. So milking is something that's really easy to do, and we're getting the cream, which rises to the top of the udder now. But anybody can do this. You don't need to be afraid. And the cow is a kind of cow who's bred and trained to just stand here calmly and have this done. So there's nothing to be afraid of. It's not yucky. It's not ooky. And your life may depend on it. Nut trees in the front yard. We've had some storms, and so some of the nuts were blown off, but the nuts are right here. Pretty sure those are walnuts. They fall down, and then you can crack them open. One way of knowing this is walnut is for you to feel the outside and then smell. It smells like kind of piney. When the grocery stores are closed, this is where you're going to be getting your food if you know how. We're not butchering any of these yet, but they're going to make more of themselves, and they can be butchered. And again, luckily for me, in the area which I am, some of the fence that I help with, you see this grass? It's almost as tall as I am. You got a pear tree fully laden. So in order to feed yourself when you're with your group, you have to know how to find the food, and you have to be willing to go out and get it. If you're squeamish, if you're afraid of bug bites, if you can't stand the heat, then how are you going to eat? Because these things don't pick themselves, cook themselves, and they have a limited time in which they are ready to eat and can be processed. And you have to be ready at that time to take care of them. Right now, they're still a little green. They taste okay, but they're not fully ripe. And if you want all the nutrition and goodness from them, you wait till they're ripe, and then you do your processing. And luckily for me, since I'm out here, this will be part of my diet. All good things must come to an end, right? Yeah, figures that this area now is in a water emergency. And so we have been told that water is restricted now for the entire area. And so the partisans have shown me a way to a hand-dug well. So I'm going to follow their trail here through the woods. I don't think the well has water in it now, but what it offers up is a potential to come and dig. If there was a well there once, there's probably going to be water for it. So we may have to come out here and excavate it. You see there's the stonework around it and a tree across it. there's water in it. So that water is going to have to be filtered. Let me show you. Let me drop a stone or something in there so you can see. So that may be a source, and this was obviously hand dug and then dry stacked stone done in the right way, and some sort of water source down there. I don't know if that's spring fed or it's just the water table or what, but that is a bonus, even though it's dark. And again, I said it'll probably have to be filtered, but it's a bonus to know that it's there and it still has water in it even when there's a water shortage in the area. So it's just another reason to be familiar with where you're going and not be counting on just wandering through, say, a national park or a forest where you've never been and hoping that you're going to find a water source or things to eat. It's better to already at least have an idea. End of a long day. I've already been working 12 hours. You can see I'm sweaty. I'm kind of dirty. We did some butchering. We did some cooking. We did some cleaning, washing pots and pans, keeping our sanitation up, taking care of children. What else? Some mechanical work, moving fences, milking that cow. But this is necessary. If you think you're just going to wander out of your high-rise apartment and be able to make it out here, you might want to think again. So walking along in here in the tall grass, this is wild, or at least some kind of asparagus right here. So if you're from the south, you know those sounds. That's cicadas, really loud. This is one of the other water sources in the area. It's an old bridge, wooden floor, obviously. Not sure how deep that water is. There are fish in that water. And it makes sense that this is here because older rural communities would settle on a river like this in order to water their animals and themselves in the late 1800s, middle 1800s. And there's something in the water down there making circles. I don't think my camera's good enough to show it. So this is still the same day. Have to come down here, use a bucket or something, purify this water, take it back to wherever we needed it. If you had some kind of water pump, you might be able to pump gallons and gallons and something you stored in. Or if you don't, maybe bring your animals down here, water them, and then walk back. It's no more than about a mile square, so the town is. So then it's only a mile walk. And on a day like it is, where the temperature's suddenly nice and soft and breezy, could be a very pleasant after dinner thing to do as a community, as a group, as a family. Oh, there's a fish. Let me see if I can get that. Just lazing along in that shallow water. Might be a catfish. Pretty good size. So a possible source of food as well.